India, a nation with over 1.4 billion people, is rapidly transforming from a regional power to a global geopolitical heavyweight. With one of the fastest growing economies, strategic geographical positioning, and diplomatic agility, India is cementing its place in a multipolar world order. But what exactly is driving this rise? And what does this mean for the rest of the world? Let's dive into India's growing clout in global geopolitics. India's economic ascent is the cornerstone of its rising geopolitical influence. The country's GDP is projected to grow at 6.8% in 2024, surpassing $3.7 trillion, solidifying its position as the fifth largest economy globally. This growth trajectory is fueled by a combination of structural reforms, sector-specific incentives, and strong domestic demand. In terms of trade, India's merchandise and service exports reached a record $770 billion in 2023, making a 14% increase compared to the previous year. This includes dominant industries like IT services, pharmaceuticals, and textiles. India's IT sector alone generated over $245 billion in revenues in 2023, catering to global tech demands while positioning India as a digital innovation hub. Foreign direct investments, or FDI, has also been a major driver of India's economic success. In 2023, India attracted FDI worth $84 billion, up from $81 billion in 2022, with significant contributors from USA, UAE, and Singapore. Companies like Apple have shifted a substantial portion of their manufacturing to India, making it a global hub for electronic production. Tesla, too, is in advanced talks to set up a factory in India, probably, not sure, signaling confidence in India's investment climate. The Indian government's Production Linked Incentive (PLI) scheme has been transformative. Launched in 2020, this program offers financial incentives to key sectors, including electronics, semiconductors, and renewable energy. In 2023, this scheme attracted over $30 billion in new investments, boosting manufacturing output and creating millions of jobs. This aligns with India's broader vision under Make in India initiative to reduce import dependency and become a global manufacturing powerhouse. India is also at the forefront of the clean energy revolution, with the target to reach 500 gigawatt of non-fossil fuel capacity by 2030. India has already installed over 175 gigawatt of renewable energy as of 2023. This shift not only mitigates environmental risks but also makes India a leader in the global green energy supply chain. India's economy has displayed remarkable resilience in the face of global headwinds such as the COVID-19 pandemic, supply chain disruptions, and geopolitical tensions. Its robust domestic market, supported by growing middle class, cushion it from external shocks. In fact, the consumption-driven growth now accounts for 60% of India's GDP, reflecting the strength of its internal demand. Geographically, India's location in the Indo-Pacific makes it a strategic partner of nations countering Chinese influence. India's active participation in the Quad alliance with the US, Japan, and Australia reflects its commitment to ensuring a free and open Indo-Pacific. This partnership focuses on regional security, supply chain resilience, and technological collaboration, including 5G and cybersecurity. India has also strengthened ties with the European Union through the EU-India Trade and Technology Council. This platform facilitates cooperation on green technologies, digital innovation, and trade. Meanwhile, India's defense and technology agreements with the US, including collaboration on jet engines and drones, highlights the growing depth of their strategic partnership. India's presidency of the G20 in 2023 has a turning point, especially with inclusion of African Union as a permanent member. By championing the Global South, India has positioned itself as a bridge between developed and developing nations. This aligns with its broader vision of creating equitable global governance system. India's leadership in International Solar Alliance and its commitment to renewable energy showcases its efforts to combat climate change while promoting sustainable development in emerging economies. This soft power diplomacy reinforces India's image as a responsible global leader. India has skillfully leveraged its diplomatic channels to secure energy needs amidst global uncertainties. In 2024, India solidified its position as the largest importer of Russian crude oil, surpassing even China. In July alone, India imported oil worth $3.1 billion from Russia, reflecting a 25% increase from the previous year. This strategic relationship not only ensures energy security but also saves billions in foreign exchange due to discounted rates. At the same time, India continues to diversify its energy imports. Gulf nations like UAE and Saudi Arabia are vital partners, contributing to over 8% of India's crude imports. The UAE's growing investments in India's energy infrastructure, including a $2 billion food processing facility in Gujarat, highlights the deepening economic ties. India's approach to the Russia-Ukraine war exemplifies its independent foreign policy. While advocating for peace, India has refrained from aligning with Western sanctions on Russia. This neutrality has allowed India to maintain its trade and diplomatic ties with both sides, enhancing its image as pragmatic and balanced player on the global stage. India's ties with Gulf Cooperation Council, or GCC, nations are stronger than ever, with bilateral trade surpassing $161 billion in 2023. The UAE is a standout partner not only as India's largest Arab trading partner but also a significant investor in infrastructure and technology. The Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement, CEPA, between India and the UAE is expected to boost trade to $100 billion by 2030. India's role in Quad Alliance with the US, Japan, and Australia highlights its commitments to maintaining the rule-based order in the Indo-Pacific. Key areas of collaboration include supply chain resilience, cybersecurity, and renewable energy. This partnership allows India to counterbalance China's influence while promoting stability in the region. India's strategic autonomy enables it to act as a mediator in global conflicts and bridge between major powers. Its ability to maintain stronger relations with the Russia, US, and Gulf countries exemplifies this role. As a voice of Global South, India advocates for equitable growth and development, further enhancing its diplomatic credentials. But India's growing geopolitical stature comes with significant challenges as it navigates a complex and dynamic international environment. These challenges stem from historical rivalries, regional instability, and evolving global trend that requires nuanced and strategic response. The India-China relationship continues to face strain, particularly over unresolved border disputes. The ongoing standoff in eastern Ladakh since 2020 reflects the deep mistrust between the two nations. Despite efforts for de-escalation, recent dialogues have yielded limited progress. China's increasing military and infrastructure activities near line of actual control, LAC, remain a pressing concern. India must strengthen its border management capabilities while continuing diplomatic engagement through multilateral forums like BRICS and Shanghai Cooperation Organization (SCO) to manage the rivalry. China's growing influence in South Asia poses a strategic challenge to India. Beijing's investments through the Belt and Road Initiative (BRI) have increased its presence in countries like Sri Lanka, Nepal, and Pakistan. For instance, the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, or CPEC, directly impacts India's security and territorial integrity. India must counteract this influence through regional partnerships such as Indian Ocean Rim Associations (IORA) and by strengthening its infrastructure and trade connectivity projects, including the Chabahar port in Iran. Pakistan's internal political and economic crisis, combined with aggressive posturing over Kashmir, continue to be a source of instability in South Asia. Cross-border terrorism and resurgence of extremist groups further complicate the situation. India must enhance its counter-terrorism measures and work with allies to maintain pressure on Pakistan to curb terrorist activities. India remains heavily dependent on energy imports, with the Middle East as the major supplier. Geopolitical instability such as Israel-Hamas conflict and tensions with Iran impacts energy supplies and prices. India is actively diversifying its energy sources, including through agreements with Russia and investments in renewable energy. Initiatives like the International Solar Alliance (ISA) position India as a leader in sustainable energy, helping mitigate risks associated with global energy disruptions. India is increasingly seen as counterbalance to China in the Indo-Pacific, aligning with the US-led initiatives like Quad. However, maintaining a strategic partnership with the US while avoiding over-dependence poses a diplomatic challenge. India seeks to balance these relationships by engaging with both Western allies and traditional partners like Russia. India's democratic strength is a global asset, but internal challenges such as religious polarization and socio-economic disparities continue to weaken its position. India is heavily impacted by the climate change, with frequent extreme weather events threatening its agricultural output and infrastructure. While India has pledged to achieve net zero emissions by 2070, its efforts require substantial investments and international support. Additionally, India's push for leadership in digital and green technologies faces stiff competition from developed nations, necessitating strategic investments in innovation and education. India's ascent on global stage is marked by a mix of opportunities and challenges. By leveraging its strategic partnership, democratic values, and growing economic clout, India can address these hurdles and solidify its position as a key player in emerging multipolar world order. India's young, tech-savvy population is a crucial driver of this future influence. With over 600 million, or probably 800 million by now, internet users and thriving startup ecosystem, India is poised to lead in emerging technologies like artificial intelligence, space exploration, and renewable energy. India's growing economic might, strategic partnership, and leadership in global governance suggest that its role as a major geopolitical player will only expand. But to sustain this momentum, India must address its domestic challenges and continue to innovate diplomatically. India's rise is not just about power, it's about responsibility. As the world embraces a multipolar world order, India's voice will be critical in shaping policies on trade, climate, and security. The question is not whether India will be global leader, it actually already is in many fields, but how it will navigate the challenges and opportunities of this transformative era. Let us know in the comments, what role do you see India playing in the future world order? Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more insights on global geopolitics.